So one of the questions we had was about what happens when we get stressed. And that really depends not just on extroversion, introversion, sensing, intuition, thinking and feeling, judging, perceiving as separate scales, but on our whole personality. The four preferences combine together dynamically to say something more about who we are as a whole person. So, for example, if someone had preferences for introversion, for intuition, for thinking, and for perceiving, we'd say that they had preferences for INTP, the objective analyst. And for each of us, there's a core part of our personality, part of our makeup that we tend to use most. And that's really important during stress. Let's take that INTP, for example. And this is somebody I know really quite well. Because it's me. Those are my particular type preferences. As I said, each of us has a core part of our personality, an aspect of ourselves that we're very familiar with and use more than any other part of our personality. Sometimes this is called our dominant function or our favorite process. I'm an introvert, and for me, this core character is introverted thinking, the analyst. I really enjoy spending time inside my head, solving problems and making decisions. Sometimes, indeed, I'll make decisions and forget I haven't told other people that I've made them. And that can lead to problems. If any of you ever meet my partner, she can tell you quite a bit about that. But generally speaking, that is balanced by other parts of my personality. And even though I'm an introvert, I do make some contact with the outside world. But let's see what happens when stress comes along. Now, at the moment, there are things which are stressful for most of us. Things like worries about our future, about the recession, about will we still have a job. Things about concerns about our health, and we heard some of that from Caitlin in terms of some of your questions earlier. But for people like me, there are going to be also particular stresses. The idea that we have to follow through on decisions by other people or from our organisation which seem illogical or ill-founded. Having to spend too much of our time and effort supporting others rather than engaging with the task at hand. And what tends to happen when we begin to become stressed is that we fall back on that part of us that we're most happy with, that we're most confident with, that we use more than anything else, our favourite process, our core character. For me, introverted thinking, the analyst. So what you'll see in my behaviour is you'll see me withdraw. I'll go away to my cave, I'll withdraw to my inner world, I'll become quieter. But inside my head, it's very noisy. I'm desperately turning over, solving problems, making decisions inside my head. The cogs are turning, blah, 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 it's going, all going quick, quick, quick inside my head. And it's a flurry of decisions. And in doing that, I become increasingly cut off from the outside world. I lose a touch of the outside world, I become less balanced. And if I keep doing that, I'll end up exhausting that central part of myself, and I'll suddenly become very loud, shouty, and bad-tempered, which relates to the question that we had earlier. But for most of the time under everyday stress, I just go deeper and deeper into that cave, into that less adaptive part of myself. Now, to pull myself out of it, what I need to do is to force myself to engage with other parts of my personality. For me, it's a part of my personality called extroverted intuition. I don't want to do that. My natural impulse is to go deeper and deeper into my cave and do more and more about introverted thinking. But one of the great things about type for me, and for learning about myself through the MBTI, is I know that actually if I force myself to engage on extroverted intuition by talking to others, to explore ideas and possibilities, that will pull myself out of that stress situation. That's not as easy now as it was when I'm isolated and working from home, but there are still ways in which I can do it. Now, I have preferences for introversion, but extroverts tend to have a different initial stress reaction, and a different way to recover. So, Caitlin, I think you've got a personal example here from yourself.
Yes, I do. I'm a little bit different, so I have a preference for ENTJ, and my favorite preference is extroverted thinking. So I tend to get a little louder and more active, and I try to talk about the things on my plate and tackle multiple things and just sort of go, 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 making decisions. So the way that I try to handle that with my type is to stop and try to work through the different possibilities first and assess the situation and try to just force myself to take a minute before the go, go, go begins.
Great. Thanks very much, Caitlin. And in general, generally speaking, for people with an extroverted preference, the answer when you start to feel yourself pulled into that situation, you get louder and louder, do more stuff, is to go, stop. And then work with the introverted parts of your personality to pull yourself away from that stress reaction.